And welcome to the Stiff Truth. I'm Bob West.
I am Scott Castelnova, and we are here. So excited. Episode number 2, baby.
The dose.
Deuce.
So, first, I just kind of wanted to acknowledge everyone. Thanks for spending your time with us. I know that just kind of in our everyday, hustle and bustle and our kids and our family and our drinking binges that we just don't have enough time to devote to a podcast. But the response has been really incredible, and I want to genuinely thank everyone for spending your time. It's appreciated, and I know how valuable it is, so thanks, everyone.
Oh, God, I got to echo that, Bob. I mean, for the amount of non-effort that we've put into the show up to this point, the ROI has been just phenomenal. Non-monetary, of course, but still at the same time, it is amazing to see people actually listening, enjoying, giving great feedback, very, very minimal pushing from us on a marketing, advertising aspect. We've got over 116 views on our YouTube video, and we don't even have a fucking video.
Hey, which, by the way, if you guys are going to spend the time on there to listen to an hour of us, just bloviate on topics that we are almost experts on, then please like and subscribe. We'd appreciate that.
Namaste.
So we do have some things that we want to talk about this time. We can get to that.
Wait a minute. You want to talk? You want to talk on the podcast today?
I was just going to sit here and play ZV. I thought that would get us the ratings that we needed.
Well, when all else fails, lean on masterpieces like that, of course. But yes, let's get into some stuff today. Bob, I know you're a little bit, what's the word I want to use here? Not really annoyed. Would that be a good word? Maybe chafed feeling a little bit? I don't know. Explain to everybody what I'm talking about.
Well, yeah, I don't know if I'd call it annoyed, more as I would like to just kind of shed some light, because I think in this political climate, people get caught up, and especially on social media, with the fact that I'm going to post whatever the hell I want without repercussions, and when someone wants to respond, I'll just give them the fuck you instead of, having an adult conversation argument that's based on fact. And I know that's crazy. We can't be basing things on fact, but I do want to point out that if you're on Twitter or Facebook or what have you,
you know who you are.
You all know exactly who you are. There is a difference between posting something on social media and representing your conservative or liberal viewpoints and social activism. So don't confuse the two. If I post how much I think Bernie Sanders has licked assholes for the last 20 years, that is not the same as canvassing or gathering signatures to solicit social change in my neighborhood or my city. That is just you being a douchebag and spreading hate speech and political propaganda with no fact-based things, with no arguments. It gets really old to see. I'm just so tired of seeing it. People want to get people fired up, and they want to say how much, say, Trump sucks or whatever, but then they go and they start putting this factless hate speech on the internet without any repercussions, and then when someone calls them out, and they're just like, well, you're a libtard or whatever. It's absolutely ridiculous and asinine and juvenile. Guys, if you want to get involved, please go do something tangible instead of just being a political windbag on Twitter or Facebook. Okay, that's my rant.
Well, and you know what? I just did some fact checking there. I'm not 100% sure what Bob said about Bernie Sanders licking ass for 20 years is correct. Folks, that might be fake news.
Okay, thank you for the fact check. I do like to keep it honest. I don't want to be the example of a political windbag is on our show. So
absolutely,
thank you for calling me out on that and keeping it honest.
I got to do that, man, because as you know, we are very, very influential people. So when you said that, there was probably about 8 or 9 people that could have possibly believed you. So,
but somewhere Matt Gaetz was like, "Get him, Bob."
Yes, he was.
So just gotta call that one like I see it.
Oh gosh. Well, you know what? Could have swore that we wouldn't talk too much about politics today, but I don't really want to talk about politics at all, but I do.
You know, when you lead off with that, Scott, it just means you're about to say something about politics. I just want to say that.
How about this?
I want to point out that it's not about the money, but how much is it going to pay?
Look, I don't want to sound rude or anything, Bob, but you're a real prick, okay?
Hey, I'm just giving the stiffest of truths over here.
Oh, ooh, I like that. Good little name drop of the show there, sir. But no, seriously, I don't want to talk about politics. I want to talk about politicians that I miss. And it kind of puts things in perspective, Bob. I mean, the past few presidents that we've had, they've all been unique. They've all been very, very, very different. But there's somebody that I wholeheartly miss having in the White House for just pure entertainment value, and that's Mr. George W. Bush.
Not senior, junior.
No.
We got not Herbert Walker.
Not George H.W. Bush, but yeah, just the dub. Just
okay,
the dub.
okay. So the dubs. Okay.
I miss W.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you miss about W?
Thank you for that. Well, no, I mean, more than anything, the guy just really let's forget about everything. Let's forget about, weapons of mass destruction and Iraq having him and all the things that he did and Cheney and his nonsense. But let's look at George W., the person. George W., I believe he was technically like a draft dodger, wasn't he? Didn't he go and do something very cush or whatever and do a bunch of cocaine in the Air Force, I believe?
I believe, if I recall right, we might have to fact check this one, but I believe he was in the reserves.
Yes.
So he not exactly draft dodging or the Coast Guard or something, but he was in something, but not necessarily like let's go to Vietnam.
Yeah. So he basically did what he did when the reporter threw the shoe at him. He didn't really dodge it. He just did a little shimmy, little shake, make sure he got out of the way.
Yes.
Direct line of fire. I got you. George W., I mean, just from that point on, doing a bunch of coke, working on planes, whatever he was doing, I love the idea of my president just being a spoiled rich kid, frat boy, but takes that all the way to the White House and that mentality. And that's really what I miss about him the most. I mean, Trump's made up his own words too, but I think George did it better as well. I mean, what say you?
So I want to chime in with this. I do agree that I never thought I would miss George W. So, when he first went in, I was just like, oh my God, is this like where we have sank to with our presidency? But then after he got in...
This was what, 2000?
This is in 2000.
When we thought that this was the bottom of the barrel for presidents, everybody, mind you. Go ahead.
Correct. So, but once he got in and I just started seeing the entertainment value that was added to the news, it really it really made me yearn for it. And not just and I can't wait to see what's on SNL this week kind of a way, because Will Ferrell played an excellent Bush.
Oh, so good. So good.
But just I want to see this guy in front of a podium. I want to see him at the Rose Garden. Anytime W speaks, I want to be there and I want to tune in and watch this guy, because you're right about the frat boy thing. But the thing that made him so damn charming is that Bush always had a way to laugh at himself. And he wasn't afraid to be self-deprecating and see the humor and not being the expert, and I can definitely see his point of view on that. I enjoy, not being the expert myself and just talking out of my ass sometimes too. So I really enjoyed it. And then, when Obama came and, he's just a serious, mature person. I instantly miss this immature, frat boy that just couldn't wait to get out of the interview and get finished,
pounding a beer.
Yeah, with his presidential phone calls and get to Camp David and go pound some beers and go hunting with Dick Cheney for,
Yeah, we all know how
assistance.
That turns out. Going hunting with Dick is always the safest thing to do.
Yes, Dick needs to hunt from in front of you.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. There was an air around W. Let's just call him W here, because I think that sounds like we're chummy and we're just having a beer with him and smoking a joint with him anyways. But with W, he always had a weird kind of grin, smirk on his face. it was almost like he wasn't really taking everything quite that seriously, which is great. Or maybe he just didn't understand some of the things that were going on, so he just rolled with it and had fun, like you were saying, right? I love that. I miss the guy.
Well, and it's okay too, because he didn't have to understand. The thing that made W so good was he's like, you know what? I don't know if I want to try to understand. Dick, can you take most of this, and I'll just do the public appearances? And that worked for him, right?
It really did. It really did. I mean, sure. I mean, putting Cheney in charge and in the driver's seat might have had some unforeseen consequences that he didn't know about, but that's okay.
Yeah, see, I think the big difference between Trump and George isn't, because we're on first name basis now. It's just George.
Yeah. Donnie is what I call him.
So Trump and W are very similar, right? They both came from, elite white families that are, from money and what have you. They're both frat boys. They're both like, slightly better than C students. It's just whatever. But the difference is that W would be like the best person in the world to have a beer with. Ever,
oh, dude,
right?
he's humble and he knows he's an idiot. I like that.
Like, it's okay to not know everything. It's like I'm always telling my son, you don't have to know everything, but dear God, please don't pretend like you do.
Oh, no.
It's okay to say I don't know. And I think the big difference that separates Trump and W is ego. Whereas George, I think, was a very humble president. As far as, you know what? I'm going to find that answer for you. You know what I mean?
I'm not sure right now, but after my nap, I'm going to ask Dick about it.
I just had 4 beers in his ante on the way over here. You know what I mean?
Hey, easy with all the questions, man.
So, whereas, Donald, he doesn't drink. He's very serious. He always wants to be perceived as the smartest person in the room. And by all accounts, with his narcissism, I really think that he believes he is always the smartest person in the room, which is ironic.
Extremely braggadocious.
But,
extremely.
I don't know.
Old.
I just miss W. I really do. I mean, I would so much rather have, a humble, guy that can laugh and chuckle at a joke, or when he makes a mistake speaking, but he still tries to, at least play the part and play it off and whatever, instead of just pretend that he's, I meant to do that. It's okay.
And
whatever.
bringing it back to my example, I think my eyes really opened up that I would really love to have a beer with this guy, and he seems like he's got just a playful personality. When he was getting the shoes chucked at him by the reporter, and I can't remember, it was in some Arab country, but I know that's bad because, the shoe thing is like a huge disrespect thing, right? Or whatever, looking at the bottom of your feet, Ottoman Empire, putting your feet up, shit like that.
Yeah, but so is giving the old thumbs up when you get off the plane in certain parts of the world, but
or doing this. I don't know if those peace signs were really good for Nixon either.
So I really like the new format. I really like the presenting the our images and our faces to the world here, but I gotta take notice that I'm looking at that beautiful face over there, and I'm not seeing like perfectly symmetrical, pointed mutton chops over there. What's going on, Scott?
Oh my God, you noticed. That's right. We're on video now. Hold on. Let me put on some pants real quick too.
No.
Okay.
You don't have to. You don't have to.
Please. Everything was fine. We were feeling it with the no pants. No, the chops, man, they were great. I loved the way they looked. I had just a nice air of additional white trashiness going on with the chops that really was appealing to me.
I agree.
Yeah, 100%. Let's come on. I look kind of like I came from the movie Joe Dirt with those chops, but maybe one of Kid Rock's homies that was riding around in the Camaro with them. But the chops are gone, and they're gone because I can't stand grooming and taking an extra 30, 40 minutes to make sure my chops are fucking symmetrical, and this one's got the same pointedness and whatnot. It was really, really annoying. I could only put up with it for what was it, maybe 2 months? And I think I was only shaving once a week because I was dreading the extra time. So it had to go. It was too much, bro. I can't spend more time getting ready than my wife. That's just a hard line in the sand, Bob.
Well, I mean, if you do, that takes the power away. How are you going to say, well, we're going to be late if it's you always in the bathroom?
It's like I could see my wife right now. It's like, I know, honey, I know we're supposed to be there at noon, but I'm still waiting for your father to quit being a little bitch and finish up his chops in there. Yeah, it's not the same. It's not good. It's not good.
See, in our house, it's a little bit different. It's always, are you ready? Yeah, it only takes me like 15 minutes to get ready. Well, I got this. Well, you better hurry up. We're going to be late. Right, that's my wife, by the way. So then
she sounds extremely awesome. Just, I mean, almost like I'm picturing kind of like an olive oil, kind of.
Hurry up, Bobby.
A Jewish olive oil.
So then I'll get ready and I'll like prove to her that I can. So I'm in there, scrubbing the T-zone, like really going to town and trying to get in and out of there just to prove that I can hit that 15-minute mark. Like it's like pit stop. You got to like improve on that time, right? But then when I get out and we're all ready to go, as soon as we're about to leave, I'll be right back, babe. I got to go take a shit.
Hey, it's the same routine as mine, the shit, shower, shave, bro. I mean, you cannot try to skip one of those. They're all essential to the morning routine. Try to leave the house without doing one.
It's almost like when I turn on the shower to like get the hot water ready, it's almost like having coffee. It's a trigger. It's like I feel it start grumbling. Oh, the water's going. It's go time.
I almost wish there was a new invention. Maybe we should work on this and maybe not give it away, but have a shitter inside the shower that also has a coffee maker in there too. Can we just get it all done in one fell swoop and come on?
Yeah, we're gonna like throw a Nintendo Switch in there too, or we're just gonna hang out in there.
I'm not expecting to spend a lot of time there. I'm expecting all of those things to just trigger everything.
Okay, so this isn't like a man paradise that you're building here. This is just an efficiency tube of success. You just go in, that like robots come and shave your beard and cut your hair while you're shitting and brushing your teeth at the same time and somehow like showering. Just handling it all.
And there's a robot arm that's tickling your balls the whole time too. But that goes without saying, right? I mean, that was already a part of the device anyways. But yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking here. But honestly, dude, I mean, if I'm spending more time getting ready, I can't be that vulnerable in my relationship. You know what I mean? I can't have it. Too much.
I don't know. I appreciated your effort with the precision of your chops. I thought it took dedication, and I thought it was, just a diligent effort to present yourself.
Look,
I'm a little bit jealous because I can't grow the mutton chops. So I did. I took notes and I appreciated that effort. So good for you.
I appreciate that, Bob. And that is another side of it there too. Is it's got to be both a blessing and a curse to have facial hair like a 13-year-old Mexican boy like yourself too. You know what I mean?
That's native boy.
God damn it! I can't believe that I was that un-PC. I'm sorry about that. But no, I mean, it is nice though, because I'm sure you save a lot of time and energy to where I'm constantly doling razors like daily when I'm shaving, which is just not fun. It's just not fun. I've even considered getting electrolysis. Just get it done.
I'm just gonna say this. I haven't shaved in 2020. So,
what the fuck?
Yeah, dude. Just some scissors, a little bit of grooming and upkeep, and some brushing, and we're good. That's it. This is very,
pretty fucking
very
impressive.
Very, very easy for me. So, yeah. So my routine hasn't really changed much since I was like 10. So,
yeah.
I just get in and do my hair, and then every now and then I'll have a couple hairs go down over my lip, and I'll have to get the scissors out. But no, the manscaping for me, unlike yourself, it's a little bit different adventure for me. But I can't appreciate it. I've known you for a long time, and you quickly can become a terrorist.
Very quickly. Yeah. I mean, I think there was at one point in time where I just didn't shave for about a week or something like that. And I was helping a friend of mine here in Denver move. We looked like movers or whatever. We're pulling stuff out of a back of a truck bed. And somebody said something about like, hey, what are you doing to my friend? He was like, what are you doing? He's like, who's that Armenian guy over there? I was like, are you fucking kidding me? All of a sudden I'm Armenian after not shaving for a week? Wow. But yeah, it was pretty intense.
Yeah, ICE is putting you against the van, asking you questions, looking for your identification. The NSA wants to know like what kind of phone calls you've been making to what nationals.
I'm all easy. I'm a privileged white guy that just hasn't shaved this week. Leave me alone. I'm okay. I'm on the same team.
Yeah, no, that's hilarious. So yeah, I appreciate the struggle is real for you. I'm not involved in your struggle.
No, it's totally opposite, but that's okay.
I try to have empathy.
And you do a great job. I mean, you're a sweetheart of a man. Have I already told you that?
You probably have. I don't.
Well,
I don't have a researcher, so I don't have like specific dates.
Well, I mean, I think I did with our weekend in Mexico, but I think that's both blocked from our memory, so I don't know what's going on there.
What weekend in Mexico?
Exactly. Let's move on.
Some Armenian guy took me to Mexico. I don't know what happened.
I never went with you. I just remember going with my Armenian lover. He had a gold-plated phone.
You're like, no, that's where I bought you. You don't remember that?
Oh, the prices in Mexico are so great. Oh my goodness. So how are things going with your daughter, Bob?
She's good. She's a handful.
Jesus Christ.
My son's good. He kind of keeps to himself. he's not a huge handful. It's funny that when I was growing up, I never pictured myself with all the sports that I played that I would have a bunch of daughters. I always was like, oh, one day I'll just have a son, right? Mm-hmm. So, I guess I should have, thought about that before my, late teens and 20s happened, because I swear my lifestyle produced a karmic effect to have girls.
Oh, I think I might be in the same boat there, Bob, but is it safe to say that at a certain point in time in your youth, you may have forgotten that women were 100% people to a certain extent and maybe treated them a little bit subparly, perhaps?
No, I didn't treat them subpar. No, they were people that you got to possess.
Ah, yes, I see. For an evening or so.
No, I mean, really, maybe, I have my flaws. And when I was younger, of course, I engaged in a little bit of womanizing and misogynistic point of view and behavior without having the proper empathy. Maybe a little bit of narcissism to overcome in my late teens as I'm venturing into manhood. But I really think that the way that the universe works, I'm not very religious, so I'm not going to say that God is teaching me a lesson here, but I do think that the way the universe works, or maybe physiology works, is that I perhaps needed to have girls to complete my journey into manhood and learn how to, appropriately, respond to women and be empathetic and, treat women the correct way.
So treat them with respect, essentially. You had to kind of learn how to do that. And I guess by diving in and having women as children, kind of being put through or seeing what they have to go through, maybe from a different lens or something like that. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's just a paradigm shift, right? So it's when you have your little girl, it changes just your outlook. And then you start looking at all the creepy men out there that are staring at your, little girls as they grow up, and you're wondering, what the fuck are you thinking about?
Yeah. I would definitely say there's some kind of karmic energy going on there, because, I mean, just to say it maybe not so nicely or as delicately, I mean, I was an asshole to women when I was younger, and now I feel I have a daughter, and my brother had 5 girls. I know if I had another one, it would be a girl too, and I think it's just to kind of flip the table, right? And spin it around and say, here you go, fucker. Now you put up with this shit and deal with it, since you were one of the assholes that now you're worried about.
Yeah, but how much different or better of a person are you now than you were 10 years ago as far as that lens is concerned?
Well, I now am only interested in boys.
You always have been.
No, in all seriousness, that's a great point. I mean, I'm obviously, not to toot my own horn, but I'm obviously an amazing person right now, a stand-up guy, and it's all because of the maturity and a lot of it on that and through that lens. I mean, let's just face it there. I mean, there's a lot of things that I come to realize and understand now from having a daughter that I just was ignorant before or didn't care about before, I guess. So yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying there.
So, sorry, you didn't hear that, but I just made the whip cracking sound.
Well, it's not nearly as funny if I can't fucking hear it.
Yeah, well, you know, to make an omelet, right?
Yeah. We do have to break some eggs here, buddy. We do have to break some eggs.
Speaking of breaking eggs, dude, did you catch that debate the other day?
Oh, my God. Are we talking Bloomberg's?
We are talking Bloomberg.
Oh, my.
That guy, I don't know what the election process looks like in New York City. As far as, like, you know, how much stock is put in debates or how much of the public eye is really on there. Since he was, you know, a multimedia mogul, did he just really throw advertisements all over the city and get elected that way, which is what he's trying to do now? But it looked like that guy had never been, like, prepared for a debate. I mean, I was in the speech and debate team in high school, and I don't know.
You were a cool guy.
Oh, I was super cool. Like, I got all the chicks. So I joined the debate team because there was like chicks outside of the debate club with signs and shit. Before I got there, I was like, I got to be one of those guys.
Obviously.
So,
and hence why you have daughters.
If you're that rich, how do you not have a PR person or a debate specialist that can prepare you? Be like, hey, just so you know, you're kind of a piece of shit. So if that comes up, be prepared to explain your dumb fuckery.
You're on Mike. Yeah, let's just face it here, buddy. They might be pulling punches here, and they might go after your past. So I've checked it out, and you're a complete douchebag. So our plan here is just to deflect, okay? deflect. Yeah, no, I'm not sure what they were thinking, and I was thinking about this too. I mean, look, let's just. I have to imagine, you don't even need to fact check this. I already know this is how they do it in New York. Apparently, to become mayor, you just have to have a lot of money, and I think you just turn that in with your application, right? Or something like that.
Here's my net worth. Game over.
Game over. Thanks. But honestly, I don't know how they imagine this to go differently. I don't know. I mean, the guy's got NDAs all over the place with women. There's video footage and audio footage of him talking down race-wise, talking down occupation-wise, talking down and saying farming was a joke and easy to do. I mean, what's farming all about? You just throw some seeds and put some dirt on it and water it, boom, bam, fuck all those guys. I mean, he said so much ignorant shit, and then he's coming in here pumping, what, $400 million worth of, like, just campaign ads on TV, radio, and everything, gaining, which is sad to say anyways, dude, that he got 15% from zero. 50 up to 15% off of pure money pushing.
The marketability of the average American is astounding. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Yeah, well, I mean, Jesus, wow. Anyways, but beyond that, yeah, then the guy just expects, I guess, to come into these baits, like to debate. And
were they masturbates or
were they... Bloomberg fucked her, but no. Hey, I just got released from my NDA, so I can say that, okay?
That's good.
But no, so he's gonna come in, knight, shining armor, just smash everybody in the bait. Warren and Biden and Buddha Mayor Pete, excuse me, and Sanders. What are they gonna do? Just stand by and be legit, you know, and just kind of go after their own, like, hey, this is what I'm going to do for the country? No, they basically threw him into a fucking Shark Tank, and they gave him some chum too and lined it around his neck and threw him in. Excuse me.
Well,
I mean,
he was totally like a gazelle that was just strolling on into a pride of lions. Like, what's up, guys?
Hey, what's
and
up,
they're
guys?
just like licking their mouth while he's coming in. All, hey, welcome, buddy.
He just walks up to the main male, you know, the guy, the leader of the Pride was like, hey, dude, cool if I fuck all your chicks real quick? You know, not going to go over very well, you know?
Yeah, no, and then to have Elizabeth Warren pose all those questions to him, it was already bad enough that he had to stand right next to her from an optics standpoint, knowing that he has all these alleged, abuses and, NDAs and cases or whatever that have been settled out of court for him.
No, wait, you know Warren, right? No, Warren who? Hell, Bloomberg fucked her.
That's right. So to have her there and like no one prepared that guy when she started questioning him, his eyes just kind of got big and he just kind of held his hands like, this will just pass, right? Like, sugar at the time, right? Like, we can move on to the next question, right? I mean, this will end.
Yo, Mike, what are you doing? I'm just waiting till it's over.
Right? I mean, it's not prison style, Bloomberg. If you just grit your teeth and get through it, it's not going to end in like half an hour.
Bob, it really sounds like we need to unpack that from a personal standpoint at some time.
We're going to circle back to that topic after our stiff drink. We're going to really dive in.
That is not a lighthearted conversation to talk about Bob's prison days. But anyways.
So,
back to Bloomberg.
It was just incredible to see it. I was just like, wow. So this guy's going to drop like $300-400 million, and then he's going to come in here without even like a deflection strategy. So Trump's brilliance, and I don't ever really put those two words in the same sentence very often, but Trump's brilliance in his debate was his childishness of it all, right? If someone would have told him that, they're like, what about your NDAs? I don't see your NDAs up here. What about all the women you have NDAs with? I'm a female, sir. Well, let's talk about you being a female, right? And he'd totally deflect it and push back and go on the offensive.
And you'd be like, yeah, and you're fucking ugly, and you're fat, too.
Right,
so
right.
Nobody wants a fat, ugly president. I'm the best person ever. I am bigly. I'm bigly. It's huge.
Okay? Yes, and he would deflect, go on the offensive, and just lead everyone by the hand away from that conversation until time was up, and then he'd go back. And then the moderator, you didn't answer that, sir. Let's talk about not answering things. You know what I mean? It was
You're
brilliant.
not being fair.
So
you're fake news. You're fired.
Scott, it's 12:38 here in Rio Rancho and 37 degrees with a slight drizzle.
Ooh, that's very interesting because it's actually right now 36 degrees and snowing here in beautiful Denver, Colorado.
Doesn't that seem warm to be snowing? Hey, I'm not a meteorologist.
Yeah, it's a little bit warmer. It stopped snowing.
I don't even play one on TV anymore. So
what? Huh?
So circling back, but he didn't even have that. Like, I didn't quite understand, and I didn't watch the debate because, at this point, I'm just kind of waiting for it all to die down and waiting for some superdelegate to just take Bernie's nomination away again. But I'm really selfishly just wanting to see Bernie and Trump and watch these two crazy-haired old guys just yell at each other in all these debates. And
They both have very unruly hair. I notice in all pictures outdoors, their hair is always fucking doing one of these numbers. It's great. It looks like they just woke up all the time. It's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's like Bernie just like rolled out of his cot, and Trump just like rolled off of his person he hires to like lay on at night.
Wait, his cot, is that a socialism joke?
Is that person Melania? Too far. We're gonna have to fact check that.
We're gonna fact check that. Hold on. It's legit. It's legit. Weird. Interesting.
So I don't know about you, but I'm out of coffee, sir. I don't have anything to drink. It's PM.
Oh my God.
I think it's time for us to take a quick ZV endeavor here and take a break and go get us a stiff drink. What do you think?
Yeah,
about
let's
that?
get a stiff. Yeah, we're gonna get a stiff drink, and then we're gonna just turn it up a notch with what we're talking about a little bit here. And I think the stiff drink is gonna help. So let's do that. Let's fade in some beautiful ZV, and we'll be right back, folks.
All right, we'll do. See you in a second.
I don't know. I don't even know who ZV is. Let's get it.
Would you look at that?
The tables have fucking turned, haven't they?
Wow, and I'm like out of breath from running up those 7 flights of stairs.
Yes, bring it back. You know, it's funny that you mentioned that too, Bob, because I honestly was like, God fucking damn it, I'm taking too long because I made myself, first of all, The stiff drink in Denver today is a vodka tonic.
That's interesting that you're having a vodka tonic. I am having a White Russian.
Woo! Get the fuck out of here!
A
All
large
right.
one with all of the vodka.
Ooh, good man. So we both, and folks, first of all, too, we did not set this up. We try to go on the fly so far with what we're going to be making for our cocktails. And it just so happens that vodka is very common, and we both ended up with a vodka-based drink. So
Well,
kudos to
that
us.
And we shop at Costco.
not to plug Costco or anything, but they have just the most phenomenal quality liquor at rock bottom value prices. Okay.
No, I agree, and I love my $12.99 handle of like 6 times distilled vodka. I think it's fantastic.
That's the same one I was just pouring out of too.
Yeah.
Weird.
No,
Weird, huh?
incredible.
I also have their $17.99 handle of blended scotch, which is actually fucking phenomenal.
So, thank you, Costco. Thank you. You can personally thank us later.
just send the money our way, Costco. We're ready for it.
Don't even do that. Just send over a flat of vodka, and I'll be okay with that.
Seriously,
We're
it's
very
coming
cheap.
It's coming from Grey Goose, anyways. Grey Goose Distillery or whatever the fuck. So all good.
So,
there we go.
So yeah, I was
better.
surprised that I beat you back. I think that's the first time that's ever happened.
Yeah, no, and honestly, the problem is where the tonic water was like in a fresh packaging that I had to open up, and it took me a minute. I even was cursing up there. I was like, God damn it, son of a bitch, I'm going to be late.
Well, I've had to battle with those packages too, man. I feel your pain.
Well, I appreciate that. The struggle's real, but I'm okay. We can move on. I am.
So, now that we have our stiff drinks, maybe this will help out with our stiff truth for the day.
I'm just getting warmed up.
So let's just kind of get a precursor here. How was your trip to San Francisco with your brother?
Oh, well, first of all, San Francisco, despite popular opinion right now, on a whole, is still extremely gorgeous. There is a lot of the area exactly the same way I remembered it. We hiked up to Mount Davidson, looked at the entire city and the bridge. It was beautiful. Went to Haight-Ashbury. That area was phenomenal. Went to Amoeba Records. Just fun stuff. Went to Chinatown. Went to Little Italy. Had a great time. However, we did go to see the Mr. Bungle show on that Thursday night when we were there. Phenomenal show. It's the only time though that we actually went back downtown was on Market Street, right? So pretty much kind of the center of town. And boy, I was fucking blown away by the amount of fucking tents and homeless people. Now, mind you, I've been to San Francisco numerous times before, and there's always been like a pocket of downtown that's had like a large homeless population and just kind of where they hung out, right? Kind of like the Skid Row version of San Francisco like they have in LA. But it was very selected to these certain areas. And I remember when we went there, 2013, we went to go see Black Sabbath, badass show. But when we went up there then, they even told us in a real nice area downtown, they're like, hey, don't go too far down this street unless you want to deal with a lot of homeless people. It's just kind of where they hang out. Okay, cool, fine, whatever. No big deal. Didn't go over there. No harm, no foul. Dude, this time it was fucking ridiculous to the point I felt bad for little kids that were there with their families. They were showing SpongeBob the musical the same night as this show. So you got like families walking around, and literally there's parts on the block where the entire sidewalk and even outside of the sidewalk where a lot of people would parallel park was all fucking bums and tents and drug use and fucking craziness, smelly shit, everything, right? Everything that you see on Fox News was true about that one little area of downtown. You know what I mean? I don't know if you've seen old Tucky Carlson, but he did like a little a piece a while back because I subscribe to him, obviously, as you know. But he did a piece called "The Dystopia of America," I think, like that. It was basically a documentary piece on how shitty San Francisco has gotten.
Hold that thought. Was it I would imagine with people literally living in tents on the street, that shitty isn't just a euphemism. That you probably actually smell restrooms down there that are just like corners of parking lots or whatever.
It was legit. It was getting to be nighttime, but it was legit a couple of times that my brother was like, "Dude, watch where you're stepping," and I was like, "Fucking shit!" Like literally, I'm like, "Holy fuck, dude!" It's not dog shit either. So yeah, I did step in some shit, but more than anything, you can picture this, Bob. Like you're like, okay, I'm gonna walk down this street. No, I'm not. I'm going to walk into oncoming traffic because there's so many fucking tents and bums where normally pedestrians.
By bums, I'd like to give this disclaimer that he genuinely means homeless people.
Yeah, well, I'm got to admit here, might piss some people off here that are really into the humanity laws that they've passed in San Francisco and other places like Denver too. We've got the same problem, but this urban camping nonsense, I get it. Look, I get it. I'm not going to sit here and say I don't understand where the ideas came from and they don't have a wholehearted purpose. But just like everything in theory that I've come to know, capitalism, democracy, socialism, communism, everything in theory makes sense, right? But you have to put it into reality and look at the repercussions that are somewhat unknown and the byproducts and the things that happen to certain, whatever, right? You know what I'm trying to say?
Well, God damn it, Scott. Reality is not a place that I want to live in.
And that's why we drink heavily.
Enough stiff drinks that's accommodating to the place that I want to be.
Right. No, 100%. I get it, right? I get it. The thing is, though, and what really had me fired up about this, I was like, wow, I honestly did not think this would really turn my key, charge me up as much as it did, right? And I'm not angry about it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not mad at the homeless people, but I was just like, wow, people literally look the other way so much in downtown now that it's getting like out of hand. It looks to me, and it feels like the perception is, especially from the homeless people, that they can really do whatever the fuck they want, bro. Now, I can't do whatever I want on the street. If I wasn't in that certain area of San Francisco and I decide just to whip out my dick and piss on the side of a building, I'm going to jail like Ozzy Osbourne for pissing on the Alamo. I know that for sure. So that really kind of started to get to me too. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. So now do I have to be homeless to get special treatment or to be dignified in other people's eyes with this fucking humanitarian shit?
That sounds like a baited question, buddy. It sounds like my wife asking me if those jeans make her ass look fat or something. I don't know. I don't know if there's an appropriate way to answer that or where you're trying to take me with that answer over there.
You're all no, baby. The jeans don't make your ass look fat. Your face does.
So what's your solution? What do you think? What do you think needs to be done about that?
Honestly,
from your, perspective.
Again, I didn't want to get too political here, but let's face it, we're in a political climate that just keeps getting a warmer and warmer.
I don't believe in that. So.
Oh God, we've got an anti-climate changer. We got a flat earther on the line here.
No, I don't believe in the political climate getting warmer. I don't think there's any scientific base for that.
Hey, from what I understand, Bob, the political climate just goes in patterns. You know what I mean?
No, if the political climate were just like, if you kept rowing through the political climate, eventually you would just like fall into nothing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I'm a flat earther political climate person. So
yeah, well, you've got a lot of intricacies to you, which I appreciate. You know what I mean? You are definitely a full-bodied character with a lot of layers. And I'm not just talking about your weight, sir. I'm talking about interesting layers, like peeling back the onion, okay? So don't get too concerned.
TheOnion.com or? Sorry.
No. But, okay, back to what I was
saying. So you were there. You got to see it in one of, the top 10 largest cities in the country, right?
Sure.
Well, what did it leave you with, like, what the hell are these people doing? How are they letting this happen? What kind of climate is over here? Like, really, what the fuck is going on in San Francisco, right? It's not just San Francisco.
No. It's Los Angeles. It's Portland. It's Seattle. Really bad. Denver downtown is getting really bad.
Yeah, I told my sister about this, and she said, in fact, Austin has a similar law like that, and it's getting bad down there. But I have not confirmed that. I wanted to talk to our buddy Richard Flores to confirm that, but I wasn't able to get him on in time for this episode. So maybe next episode we can venture down that path with him.
Oh no! Well, you know, I want to get back for a minute to the bum thing. All right, to the bum fights. Okay, I will say one thing. You asked me this, like, what do I think? Why did it get this way? What's going on here? What's the how do we fix this? Or what's next? What's the score here? Right? What's the deal? Honestly, we all know how it happened. It happened just by making rules to basically not be mean to people. And I was actually, believe it or not, I was listening to Adam Corolla? Yeah, Adam Corolla had an interview. It wasn't on his podcast, but he had a podcast. He's from Los Angeles, and he had a really, really good point that resonated with me. And he said, we seem to have this new way of thinking in Los Angeles, and I'm grouping together just not Los Angeles, but all the cities we just mentioned, right?
Just any densely populated urban area, metropolitan area in the country, I would assume.
Yeah, or and let's just face it, the ones that are having the problems are more liberal cities. That's fine. There's a lot of good things.
Most cities are liberal in the country.
Yeah, most big cities are. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. But so basically, people decided at one point, and this is what he said that I loved, that instead of enforcing the law and making people kind of pay the consequences for their actions, that now is being interpreted as being mean to people. So if somebody does something wrong and you give them the associated repercussion, punishment, or whatever it is, that's no longer justified. That's the mindset that these cities are having.
So
Does that make sense?
I have an analogy on that. So oftentimes my 3-year-old comes up to me and is just like, Daddy, I want some candy. I want a potty prize. I did good and went to the potty. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. Good job. But I'm cooking dinner. So you can't have a potty prize right now because I want you to eat your dinner. Why? Well, because you have to eat real food, and then you can have your potty prize after dinner. No, I want my potty prize. No, you have to eat your dinner. And then she starts screaming and crying and running out of the room, and then, she runs to Mom, and Mom's like, what's going on, sweetheart? Daddy's being mean to me. Right, because I, enforce the rule, and then I have to tell her, no, Daddy can say no. That's not being mean. Daddy says no. Similar thing, right? As society can still have the ability to say no for the betterment of society. I mean, at what point do you bend and bend and bend and bend until shit starts breaking?
Yeah, let's just take, for instance, this one point and how it's gone too far. Why do you think people that are downtown that have restaurants do not appreciate homeless people going into their bathrooms when they're not patrons there, locking the door and shooting up fucking heroin or whatever they're doing in there, spending 30, 40 minutes in there? Why do you think they even decided, you know what, we really would appreciate if you don't use our bathroom? Let's start there. Well, one, it's a health concern. I mean, let's just face that, right? But two, this is a private business, right? So if you don't want people coming in there that are not paying you for your services in the place that you pay rent for, and you need to have this pretty good customer experience to get repeat, customers, you don't want them running into like, you know what, that restaurant was great, but I couldn't go to the bathroom because there was a bum in there for about 45 minutes and I had to shit myself, at the table, or there, this kind of thing. Right. No, but you know what I'm saying? Like, again, there are certain reasons why you shouldn't just be able to shit on the street. There's certain reasons because it smells. Somebody could slip and fall is the easy one. But I mean, you also can get hepatitis B from human feces. That's a pretty serious fucking disease. That's curable. But at the same time, do you want to have the likelihood of being able to get hepatitis B walking down the street because bums are allowed to pee and, not pee, but shit on the street? No, you don't. You don't want to do that. So there's all these things put in place, but you know what? It's mean now. It's inhumane to tell somebody to get out of your fucking place of business. Last time I checked, they reserve the right to kick anybody the fuck out of their establishment because if they want to, because it's a private business, right? Sure, it's open to the public, but they can decide who comes and goes. There's obviously repercussions of that if you decide gay people or black people can't come in your place. But hey, guess what? No, that person's probably going to be out of business soon if they choose to do that.
Businesses have done that for far, far less egregious, violations of their perceived, rights or whatever. If you remember a few years back when we had the precocious, was the White House communications person, the lady that quit.
The one that looked like she just had a stroke.
Almost looked like Monica Lewinsky.
Yeah, like Monica Lewinsky that had a stroke. What was her name? Sarah
Huckabee Sanders.
Sarah, yeah.
Thank you. So Sarah Huckabee Sanders went into a restaurant, because she was like, she might have endeavored in some of the alternative facts coming down from the agenda to be needing to go to the press from like Kellyanne Conway, and whatever, that's her job. She wants to keep her job, so she went to a restaurant or whatever, and she got told to leave because of her political views or whatever, and she didn't shit on anyone's sidewalk. She just shoot up smack in the bathroom. She just had a political belief system and whatever, and then these people just like literally wouldn't serve her and kicked her out. So the whole point
is shit in their cereal. That's what she did.
In their political cereal, right?
Yes,
their social agenda cereal, right? So the whole point of that is, but now I can come in literally smelling like piss, and not because I pissed myself, but because I've washed my clothes in like 3 months, and it just smells like that bacteria that's in piss, right? It's just whatever. And then you don't want me around because you have people, your whole livelihood is involved with selling food and having hungry patrons. And if I come in and have people like now no longer be hungry and want to leave without eating and making money for you, then you want to keep me out of here. I think that is like 100% fucking reasonable, because this isn't a government facility. This isn't a state funded school. This is a private fucking business to where they could say, hey, you smell Jewish or something. I want you out of here. And what are you gonna do?
What is that? You smell like matzo balls and pastrami. Get the fuck out of here.
It was just an example. It's just like they could kick you out for any reason. If that's the one they chose, then that's the one they chose.
Oh my God.
So I don't know. I'm pretty sure when you brought this topic up, you anticipated on my opinion being farther to the left of I actually came back at you with.
Well, I never anticipate feedback from you, Bob. You're a fucking enigma for sure. So I'm not ever going to do that, my friend. But no, what I was expecting is some good conversation, quite honestly. I wasn't really looking for a combative answer or a combative viewpoint, because I honestly think this is such really a unique situation in the sense of, again, I get it. I get why the laws have been made, and it sounds like a good idea, but let's just take any kind of program that the government starts where there is an opportunity for people to exploit it, right? Whenever there's a good-hearted program out there, anyone you can think of, welfare, like anything, right? Where there's people that complain about, its use and things like that. The idea of these programs is very, very good-hearted, means well. Unfortunately, with that being said, those words being said, every single time there is something put in place where it is good-hearted of nature, there's going to be a huge faction of douchebags that take advantage of it and exploit it, that turn it into this shitstorm. And that's where I think we're at right now with the urban camping right now, is we have a bunch of people maybe that weren't even bums, or maybe that actually had to stay in shelters or Christian shelters or other places like this where they actually had to do work and go and try to find jobs. And now they're like, wait, hold on, pump the brakes, dude. San Fran now says we can just go back on the street and live it the fuck up and do drugs on the street. Cool.
So a point that you make there has me dangerously close to deflecting this topic to a larger one that
don't do that.
I don't think we have time in this podcast to address. So I'll just briefly talk about it now and tease it a little bit, and we'll circle back next week.
Bobby, all we got is time, baby.
So when you say that laws are made, freedoms are given, whatever,
you can fact check that too. You can fact check that
in the interest of the people, right?
Yes.
Then what you do is you have, scumbags that manipulate that system to their advantage, and that's, kind of human nature, right? That will happen. I would say that exact truth applies to so many different things. It applies to entitlement programs, like you hit on, food stamps, right? Personally, I have been on food stamps, and I have been like really, really struggling with my family. and been on food stamps and got off of my food stamps, and it was something that was like crucial to us, like not only succeeding and maintaining, but then moving forward and even jumping economical classes, right? Which is very hard to do in America, right? So food
I'm sorry, I
stamps,
just got fired up. I got fired up when you said that because we both have done that.
I'm a food stamp, advocate, right? But I've personally seen like neighbors, friends that have taken advantage of this for years to the point of like lying or not getting married because they'll lose their food stamps. And I'm like, well, why the fuck do you want to? Your 5-year plan shouldn't include fucking food stamps. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? So I've seen that other side of it, right? But to go into larger scale issues.
Baby, hold on. I'll tell you what, we're going to lose everything. Hold on, baby, hold on. Let me pillow talk you on this one. We're going to lose everything, right? We're gonna accidentally have 4 more kids. And baby, by year 4, we're going to be paying. We're getting steak and lobster every single night, honey. You don't worry about anything. Those stamps are going to be flowing in and just oozing in like wine, right?
Baby, I know money's going to be tight, but we'll foster a couple more kids to take care of that.
And that's just the good-hearted person in me to do that. Again, it's about
it's about giving. It's about giving.
It's about giving and getting all the stamps. Go ahead.
Let me go ahead and tease this other thing, which I think is going to be such a large topic that we're going to hop right back off of it into the urban camping issue, so that we can fit. So. What I'm saying is, laws are good, freedoms are good, but they need to come with oversight, right? And this is where you might wince a little bit, right? I'm a free market guy, but I know that human nature will lead to corruption of a system to take advantage in any way possible. Let's say the energy business with deregulation of the 80s directly led to Enron 15 years later. Completely fucking manipulating the system because there was lack of oversight. So that's where I will get the bleeding heart liberals saying this is why we need all the oversight, right? But then I agree with the free market aspects. This is why I'm such an enigma, and I'm a huge onion to you, buddy. But I believe in a free market economy, but I have to have these institutions identified with regulations and regulated. So I do believe in some government control that the free market economy will drive its way and drive the system right up until the point where Amazon it's the United States of Amazon. So there has to be some sort of regulation.
Hey, first of all, can I just interject there? I kind of like the name the United States of Amazon. I think that's better than the United States of America. I think it sounds cooler. I was like, where do you live? I was like, I live in fucking Amazon, bitch.
A to Z, bitch. so okay, I'll leave it there. So maybe we can circle back into free market economies and regulations and the need and the wants and where things should and where things shouldn't. That sounds like a whole fucking show. So back to urban camping.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, you just had to really reel me back down in because I was getting fired the fuck up.
Oh, yeah,
I was gonna start going off about free market competition.
You know what? Let's stop. Let's stop now. Are you done? Are you done? Wait, can I finish? Okay.
Are you done? Can I finish? Okay, I'm finished.
Okay, I'm finished.
So back to this other thing.
Urban camping 2.0.
I had actually, and I want to say it was on a podcast or radio show. That's radio show. Thank you, Stick Drink.
Well, doing it right already. Doing its job.
So I want to say that I heard this on a podcast about homelessness and kind of some solutions to it or whatever, and it really rang a bell with me. So I had to do a little bit of pre-research on this topic to pull this up. And so in 2000,
wait, well, hold on. Stop. You did pre-research?
Yes. Not to be confused with pre-ejaculation. Pre-research is actually useful.
Huh? What is that?
So pardon me for being a little bit prepared, but this story just kind of rang a bell. And so I remembered somewhere hearing a story about actually paying for homeless housing outright. Just like, hey, you're homeless. I don't want you to be a drain on the economy. I want you to have a better chance, and I want to. I'm just going to pay for your apartment.
And plus, you smell like dog shit, and it's not hitting the nostrils right. Let's face it.
So there's a few things there. So right now, I'm referring to an article from the New Yorker that was published in 2005. It was written by
Credibility.
James Sirowicki.
Credibility.
September 15, 2014. But
Legit.
sorry, it wasn't in 2005. It's 2014. The research was done in 2005. So under George Bush, there was a.
Oh, wait a minute. First of all,
Back to W.
that's my boy. You're my boy, W.
That's right. So back to W. There was actually he wanted to kind of find this answer out too, right? So there's a homeless czar, whatever, a task force, and that was targeting Utah, right, specifically. So Lloyd Pendleton was the director of this Utah's homeless task force in 2005. Basically did research about putting someone into permanent housing cost. It costs the state just say $8,000, and that's after you include the cost of. Sorry, this is a direct quote, guys. And this is the cost of case managers who work with the formerly homeless to help them adjust. The same is true elsewhere. A Colorado study found that the average homeless person costs the state $43,000 a year, while housing that person would cost just $17,000 a year.
Ooh,
Because cost of living in Denver is a little higher than Salt Lake.
I'm no Andrew Lang, but
I love it.
But it sounds like the better route is to house them. Anyways, continue. I'm excited to hear the conclusion of this one.
So here's the deal. The whole argument here is that if you leave someone on the streets, right, they're going to stay on the streets. Every time they have a medical emergency, they're going to go to the emergency room.
Oh, that's
an
an hefty bill.
exponential cost. It's all going to be not paid. It's going to come out of the taxpayers, And so the idea, instead of trying to get these like heroin addicts or whatever and try to rehabilitate them in a halfway house, which costs money for oversight, you have to take care of them. Or if they slip and fall where they're under your care, they're going to sue you. So there's just all this extra legal expense and everything that goes in with that. Right. Instead, let's just give them a house and start them there. Like, here's your fucking house, dude. It's going to be free because the taxpayers are tired of paying everything else for you. So let's do this. Well, it's easier to try to get them and cheaper to try to get them into, rehabilitations while they have a place to live and start getting them into counseling and start putting all that money there than it is to just have them on the streets and take care of anything retroactively. It's better to take care of things proactively. Now, not that everyone is going to be fixed. A lot of these people have mental illness. A lot of these people have drug addictions, and they simply won't be overcome. But that's okay.
They don't want to. That's the thing with being a human. Look, I was there. I'm just going to say that right now. You have to choose, right? So yeah, there's definitely going to be a majority of these people that you can't fix, but those are the people, unfortunately, that are going to point at and say, "See, this is what happens when you're mean to them."
Right, and it's not a mean thing. It's a fiscally responsible thing. We need to take this approach just like we would any other socio-economical issue, and we need to see the Lean Six approach, right? What are the needs? What are the requirements that we are trying to solve?
Bob's talking about my six-pack abs right now, by the way.
What's the quickest, most fiscally responsible and effective way, cost-effective way to get from A to B? And if that is, giving these folks houses and then trying to solve the problem there, you know what? Whatever saves American taxpayers more money is the way that we need to head. And that if that can solve problems from both sides, then that's the way it is.
Yes! Dude, the crowd is roaring with what you just said. Can you repeat that one more time, sir?
Whatever saves the taxpayers more money is the direction that we need to head. So we have to make the best. We have to marry the best social and fiscally responsible solution that we can. We can't fix everything for everybody.
Right.
We just can't.
I'm going to take that literally. So I just marry Melania Trump, right? And then we call it a day.
What about the language barrier? You don't have enough money, so you won't speak her language.
That's right. Shit. I'm missing a couple zeros in my bank account, I think.
You guys, please like and subscribe to us on YouTube if you're listening to us there.
Yes.
And if you're listening to us on Spotify and iTunes, please follow us on Spotify. Rate us, and please give us a review on iTunes if you really like what you hear.
We're also on iHeartRadio, too, and Stitcher, right?
We are. We're a little bit of everywhere. If you just Google us, we're there. We're at thestifftruth.com. I love you guys all. Thank you for listening. I'm Bob West.
Scott Castelnova, guys. Until next time.
We'll see you next week. Goodbye now.
Later.